really, I think.
My name is Terrell Brown, 21 years old, from Hendersonville, North Carolina, miles western North Carolina. A current senior here at UNC, class 2017, with a double major in Spanish Lit and Culture and Global Studies, and a minor in African American Studies. And I'm of mixed race. My mother is white and my father is black.
My name is Justin Jackson. I'm 22 years old, from Tomball, Texas. My dad is black and my mom is white.
I used to identify solely as black until my mother started getting on me and saying, "You need to claim what I am too." And so I wanted to respect her wishes as well. I've grown up in a predominantly biracial household. On my mother's side, I'm the youngest of four. On my father's side, I'm the second oldest of 10. So I went to a predominantly black school from kindergarten to 6th grade, and then predominantly white school from 7th to 12th grade. And now here I'm at UNC with a mixture of a variety of communities.
I don't really see color. I don't see like people being different as far as skin color. I just see everybody as people, and everybody has their different beliefs and different thoughts, but they're all equal in my eyes from that.
Having two different parents with two different races, I don't know if it's had much influence in my upbringing. As I mentioned, I had older siblings on my mother's side. I met my father on my 20th birthday, so I was raised usually by my white mother, with a lot of help from my older siblings who are also biracial, black and white. And so they had a large part, I guess, just helping me move who I am today. And additionally, there's a variety of other factors. I was brought up in a Boys and Girls Club, and so it was just like a variety of different races, ethnic backgrounds.
I feel like I identify with kind of both sides. I feel like I might interact more with probably my black side because of teammates, friends that I have, but I think kind of overall it's kind of 50-50, and I try to kind of interact with both sides as much as I possibly can.
I feel definitely not all the time, but a good amount of the time, which is kind of, it's not necessarily you would be able to, I guess, interpret or see on a face value on a surface scale. It's kind of something that, I guess, from my perspective, my eyes, coming in to different spaces, sometimes I have to, like if I'm in a predominantly black space, I might sometimes feel more inclined to affirm my blackness, so I might crack a pop cultural joke, or where I'll just make sure I speak a little bit more, or I'll speak more like a black subject, or I'll mention more black leaders, or I want them to know that, like, just because I'm only half black doesn't negate that I am black, because black is black, and no matter what it is.
When it comes to choosing between a race, if you're biracial, I feel like you shouldn't have to. I feel like you're born into both of them, and that's just kind of what you were born into. So I feel like, you saying that, for me saying that I'm, white or Caucasian, that's disrespecting the other side of my race, and so I feel like you shouldn't have to choose in between each one of them.
I was a really social person back at home. I did a lot of speaking events, definitely helped with some public speaking skills. I was active always, whether it be like community organizing, community volunteering, not organizing, sports. Sometimes I dip into the arts. I remember like in elementary school, I was a part of this like sewing club, so I got a little bit of sewing skills in me. Kindergarten all the way through 12th grade of high school is public education, so shout out to public education. It was a blessing in disguise.
Before I came to college, I was homeschooled, so as far as school-wise goes, there was no type of, I went to one race-dominant school or anything like that. I was around more of the white culture, because it was kind of through a church in our hometown, and hometown is more white predominant, and so that's kind of who I interacted with probably most during that time. And so I would say through that time I didn't do much, honestly. My family was kind of all I really hung out with, them and my couple friends, but my parents were huge in trying to keep me equal-minded whenever it came to interacting with different people and doing different things. So they were huge in kind of that area.
So I haven't experienced explicit racism at UNC compared to sometimes maybe when I was younger in my life, back in my hometown in a more predominantly conservative retirement, old white people community. Still love the place, Hendo 828. But I've definitely noticed a lot. They're slick about it. They try to be, it's a little bit more, I don't want to, my peers, I think I've seen it most in professors. I think sometimes they get stuck in like one set mentality. For example, I recently, I won't name the professor, of course. I'm in a course right now where the professor and I just don't see eye to eye. I've really tried to take a variety of professional approaches. I've really tried to take a variety of calm approaches. I'm just speaking with her to just see where I can best see myself academically and try to work together. And I don't know if it's necessarily the case, what I'm about to say next, but sometimes I do feel like I walk in her classroom and my hair might be braided back in cornrows, or I might have some twists, or my hair might be out in a mini afro and things like that. And she just takes me and pins me as this quote unquote another nigga in her class who's just gonna think that he can slide by. And that's not the case. I love learning, I love enjoying. I don't think that's the case for any black person or biracial person or any student on campus. Just because we never know what they're going through, what they've gone through, or what's gonna come next. But I think it's more microaggressions that I've noticed from people's comments, whether they're slick. People love to touch my hair. Like, for me, that's low-key, sometimes hella annoying. It's just, while it might not be deemed as racist, like, that's a microaggression. For me, it's just like, this is my hair, this is a part of my identity. Maybe it's attached to my blackness, so what gives you the right, I guess, to touch that? I've seen that a lot from my peers. Professors really think sometimes they're entitled, or they know a lot more about someone because, quote unquote, like, they might have a PhD, but that's not the case at all. And so it can be kind of frustrating.
I experienced it with my fiance's dad and grandfather. They were not as accepting to African Americans as I guess most people are, and it was all based on kind of stereotypes that they had in their mind and kind of what they were brought up as believing. So that was kind of a barrier that we had to get there.
So I don't know if it's a millennial thing or not, but when people talk to me about religion, the first thing I start out with is like a caveat is I consider myself to be a very faith-oriented individual, a spiritual individual. Religion has a lot of connotations that sometimes can or cannot push people away or distance them from the conversation. And so I like to say I'm very faith-oriented. Even though I am Catholic, Christian, at 16 years old, I was baptized, confirmed into my communion in the Catholic Mass, Spanish Mass. I was really involved in mixed community back in my hometown. And that was like my first catalyst ever kind of dealing with like an religious institution.
Religious background, I'm a Christian. I have been ever since I was born, basically. And so, my outlook, like I said before, everybody in my mind are created equal. Whether everybody has their faults. They're all different. So nobody should ever be judged on that. Now, I do have some things that kind of are, I feel like are a little different than most society's beliefs. But for the most part, I look at everybody as equal. God loves everybody, no matter what their faults are, what their sins are, and that's just kind of how it is.
But in regards to LGBTQIA plus things, like to each of their own, I have plenty of queer, gay, lesbian, whatever you want to call it, friends, acquaintances, family members, things along those lines. Like, I'm 100% behind people, behind gay marriage. If people decide that's something they want to pursue in their lives, that's not my place, nor would ever be my place to say no or object or anything along those lines. For one, I have things going on I need to do it, so why expend that energy to do it for someone else? So it's interesting, but I'm 100% down for whatever people want to do in a variety of aspects of life, especially with love. If you love someone, for me, love trumps all. So what shape, color, form that exists in, it exists.
When it comes to the gay, bisexual, transsexual, all of those issues that are kind of going on, I feel like everybody is created equal, like I said before, and everybody has faults or things that they struggle with. Obviously, for people that are in those situations, that's something that they've struggled with their whole life. My religious beliefs, as far as being a Christian, kind of butt heads with that a little bit. But at the end of the day, they're all created equal. God loves them no matter whether they're gay or lesbian or whatever they are. And for me, I try to keep that type of mindset and try to look at them as equal, just as I am.
If I am privileged to be half white and half black, and to a degree, I would be lying if I didn't. I do think it's a privilege, but I also still feel like it's a con as well, because you're stuck in, as we talked about earlier, this like back and forth zone, like, oh, do I identify with this black community or identify with this white community? And so it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but I do recognize, like, when I walk maybe into an interview session, they're gonna possibly deem me as like less of a threat.
I don't think I've really experienced white privilege much. The only times I could probably say that is whenever I'm with my mom or with my mom's side of the family. Because honestly, I feel like most people look at me as African American. So for me, I don't think I've experienced a ton of it. I feel like that's been good for me.
With my interactions, from my analysis, with other biracial individuals, specifically biracial people of black and white descent, we do have I think, a commonality, and I think it's easier for us to relate, maybe, or be empathetic. I would probably say more to each other's situations, just because we're both biracial, we're both black and white, and so sometimes it is like a nice breath of fresh air to sit down with another mixed person, and when we bring up a specific topic or something, it's like, oh damn, like, yeah, I understand that completely. So if anything, if I could say there's one pinpoint thing that we both have in common, not even that, it's just like we both have this sense of empathy. It's easier to understand each other. But aside from that, I think our experiences are completely different. Just because our race or ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, is only one factor of who we are, and that doesn't determine sexual orientation, faith, religion, socioeconomic status, class, ability, everything along those lines as well too. So yeah, there's only one thing that I would like share or I would give that we have, and like that's that ability just to relate easier, because we have something in common, right? And it's pretty damn obvious, like it's our race. And but aside from that, like, no, it's not fair to assume that biracial people have the exact same or even like the majority of the same experiences or personal connections and things along those lines. Yeah, we have this like empathetic type vibe going on, but aside from that, it wouldn't be fair to say like we have some experiences, because it's wrong. It is wrong. There's no other way to look at it. And the one way you can figure that out is if you engage in a conversation with two biracial individuals, and you'll definitely see the experiences they hold. While there might be some similarities or some empathy going on, they're completely different, just because we're completely two different people and not one of the same.